and we specialize in wedding decor. We love what we do. But at the moment, I know everything is a bit up in the air, so it's just about the waiting game, but it is well. Today we have a special guest on today, so we are excited. I know I'm excited, and she is excited, and she'll be on shortly in about probably 1 minute. So whilst everybody is here live, we're going to have an interesting discussion, and it's all about wedding planning. So I hope everybody is okay, doing well. You've got your glass of wine, you've got your coffee, your tea, because it's going to be an interesting one, ladies and gents, brides and grooms, or maybe you're looking to get married, maybe your friend is looking to get married. So stay tuned. It's going to be very interesting today because I know I'm excited. How is everybody? Special lady, thank you for joining. A-Class Travels, thank you for joining us. Hope everyone is doing well. What has everybody been up to today? The weather's not too good, so yes, like I said, our special guest is on because I can see her, and we are excited about today. We cannot wait to get the discussions rolling. So, Chene, I don't know if you want to join in now, or you're going to give it 5 minutes or 2 minutes, and then we can start. I think you have, I don't know, I haven't done this before, so maybe Chene, you might have to request it in or something. I think that's how you do it. Let's see. Okay, hold on. Hope I've done it right.
Hello.
Hello. Hello,
How are
Chene.
you?
I'm fine,
How are
thank you.
you?
I'm fine, thank you. This is my first time in doing this, yeah. So I hope I'm doing it right.
I would probably say bring your camera down a little bit because you're a little bit high.
Yeah, can you
Perfect.
see me? Okay, cool.
Great. Yeah.
Great.
Hello.
Hey,
I'm having to hold my phone because my battery's dying and I need to charge it.
should we give you 2 minutes or so? Do you want to put it on the
No, no,
charge?
no. Go ahead. Let's get started.
Okay. So everybody, this is Chene. Is that how I'm pronouncing it well?
Chennai.
Chennai.
Yes,
Okay. And she's a wedding planner.
that's
And
right.
I'm going to let her introduce herself. We are so excited to have her on our show, and it's a pleasure to have you. I mean, when I asked you to come on here, you didn't say no. You didn't, and ahhing as other people would probably do. You just, I'm very grateful that you accepted, and you just said, yeah, why not? So
My
it's
pleasure.
a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
No, my pleasure. Thank you for asking me to talk to your audience. So I'm Chennai. I am the owner of By Chennai Events. I'm a wedding planner based in West London, but I work all over the UK and beyond. I basically just plan beautiful parties and celebrations for stylish clients.
Yes.
And I've been wedding planning for, I'd say, 5 years, but the business has been around for 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
It's my greatest joy, honestly, to found something that I, creatively, hello, creatively, and also, that you can do as a business. It's very rare
Yeah.
that you can find something that you enjoy that you can, make a
Mhm.
business out of. So, yeah, that's me. As I said, Chennai from By Chennai Event.
Excellent. We have a few questions.
Great.
So I'm
Fire
gonna
away.
fire. um, so what is a wedding planner? For those who don't know what is a wedding planner, maybe there's a bride or even a groom, or even, they're thinking of having a wedding planner, but they don't know exactly what a wedding planner is. What is a wedding planner?
I mean, in essence, you know, when you're looking to hire a wedding planner, you're looking for somebody essentially to use their expertise to take away some of the stress and strain that comes with planning a wedding, especially a big wedding. So
Yes.
what you can expect from a wedding planner is somebody that has, you know, a good network of suppliers that they know so they can make, you know, qualified recommendations. You're
Yeah.
looking for somebody who is familiar with, you know, wedding contracts that can just have a review of the paperwork that you'll be signing, who can give you advice, who can be a sounding board and a support system for you on the way. And then obviously some wedding planners are great at logistics. They're very good at the planning and like making sure that everything is delivered. Some wedding planners are creative, so they like to design, they like to style. I sit in both camps because my corporate background, hi Demetria. So my corporate background, you know, is in supply chain management, so I know about logistics but I also have a creative bone, you know, running right through me. So I do both. So that a basic is what you can expect from a wedding planner, to be honest.
Excellent. Excellent. So what inspired you to become a wedding planner?
Excuse me. It's weird, a weird one because I know that I've always loved entertaining. I've always loved celebration. I'm a people person through and through. And I just never knew that you could combine those sort of loves and passions into a job. And it wasn't
Yeah.
until, you know, the movie The Wedding Planner came out with Jennifer Lopez. It sounds ridiculous, but I saw the movie and then I thought, do you know what? Hello. I that's you know that movie was essentially all the things that I enjoy, and I thought actually you could do that. But it wasn't until sort of later on, you know, through like working career that I knew that I wanted just to do something for myself, and I knew that I wanted to do something in the creative space, but also using the skills that I've got, you know, elsewhere. And so I just started, you know, talking to my friends, and one of my friends actually said to me back in 2015, she's like, you know, you keep going on about it. Why don't you just help me plan my wedding? So with
Wow.
no training or anything like that, you know, helped her deliver her wedding. And I knew straight away, this is something definitely that I want to do. Like I should be doing this in one way or another. And then afterwards, I just didn't quite know how to kind of go about it. So, you know, I did my research. I researched, you know, organizations like the UK Association of Wedding Planners. You know, was trying to figure out whether I want to go down the route of training or want to just go down the route of, you know, getting event experience. And I did event experience first. So even, you know, working, you know, full time, I would, you know, volunteer my time to, you know, agencies or whatever, just to get experience in like delivering big events. And then also complemented that with some training as well through the UK AWP. And then I did another wedding, my friend's wedding, which was in 2017. It was the biggest wedding I've ever done, weekend wedding. And after that, I knew and I launched my business. So I launched the business in October of 2017. And yeah, here we are. Here we
Today.
are now.
Excellent. Excellent. And you know, sometimes you just get that feeling, isn't it? You get that I don't know how to explain. You just get that feeling that this is it. This is what I want to do. It's a
Yeah,
feeling.
absolutely.
It's an emotion. It's
Absolutely.
something that
And
you so
not everyone has the opportunity and or you know yeah, opportunity to kind of go, do you know what, this is what I want to do and I'm going to make it happen. I'm
yeah.
lucky that I am, you know, young. I don't have any kids to look after. It's very much just me. So I was able to pursue my passion, you know, whilst I was in, you know, my job without like that many responsibilities. And I was able to segue into like, you know, the wedding planning business quite easily in that way. I say easily, it wasn't easy because it is hard. It's a lot of hard work and, you know, the things that it takes to make any business successful apply to,
Mm-hmm.
you know, having a wedding business of any kind.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Um, you've answered one of the questions here, which was what was the role of the wedding planner? So
Yeah.
in a nutshell, so I won't answer that. Why should a bride choose a wedding planner? Why would a bride choose a wedding planner?
I think, and there's so many things that you can, say, and until somebody's in that position, they won't fully appreciate how much work is involved, especially for large weddings. So, if you have a large cultural wedding and you think you're going to do that all yourself, I can tell you now you're lying to yourself.
Yeah,
Um,
big
unless
time.
you've got, unless you've got, really reliable friends and really great, reliable family members who can support you through the whole journey. um, you know, Wedding planners are essential for that, and not even just big one, big weddings. I just think anything that involves time, research, and expertise. We already have the expertise. I do the
Yes.
research for you, and also it's more than just that. It's all the supplier negotiation, all
Mm-hmm.
of the management of those suppliers, all of the the time and the resource that you need to get what you want, and especially if you are a bride who has got a real strong vision for what they want for their day, and it involves a lot of moving parts. It
Mm-hmm.
makes sense to get help. And wedding planning services vary. So primarily I do full planning and wedding management, which is sort of a 6 week takeover with support on the day. um but other wedding planners have different services that they offer as well. For me, as I said, it's primarily full planning, because I don't take on that many weddings a year. I probably do maximum I would ever do full plan is probably 8. And then I might do some wedding management here or there in between. But that's just reflective of the fact that it's really time consuming, and it's it's all encompassing the service. So that's why I say, especially for people who are planning huge, like cultural weddings, for example, it's just worth looking at getting help in some form. It may be that you don't want somebody to take over the whole planning of the whole thing. You might just want somebody to help you, sort of get you over the line towards the end.
Yeah, yeah, and it alleviates the stresses as well. As a
I,
bride or groom, you don't want to be rushing around and thinking, "Have I got this done?" Or just the headache alone of, um, you know, liaising with probably vendors or or venues.
Absolutely.
You
I
don't want
find
to
it,
be doing that.
yeah, I mean, I find it surprising that anyone would choose to like do work on their wedding day. Like,
Yeah.
I personally, I want to be enjoying every single moment of getting ready, every single moment of hanging out with my
Hmm.
girls in the morning, all of those things, all those
Hmm.
great memories that you have, without worrying if, cousin so and so put my flowers how I'd asked them to, or you
Yeah.
wonder whether the cameraman's arrived on time, or the caterers are doing what they're meant to do. All of that is
Hmm.
taken care of. That's what we do as planners, so that our couples can just enjoy their day.
Hmm. Hmm. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree, definitely. Um, what are the benefits of having a wedding planner?
I think, pretty much everything that I've just outlined.
Hmm.
It's freeing up of your time. It's
Hmm.
the benefit of our expertise. So, I have done a lot of networking. I know a lot of suppliers, and the right suppliers, who are probably the best fit for the client.
Hmm.
And you think of, somebody who doesn't know anything about the wedding industry, suddenly going on Google going, oh, I need a wedding florist. Like, where do you even begin? There are
Yeah.
thousands of wedding florists.
Yeah.
Whereas, the couples that work with me will say, I want a wedding florist and I want flowers. These are the kind of flowers I want. This is my budget. And I'll go, okay, I know 4 people who kind of fit that criteria. Have a look and tell me who you think you'd like to work with, basically.
Mm.
Things like that.
Mm. Mm.
And just, and also people think, yes, it's an expense. It's an investment having a planner, of course, but it was
Yeah.
also a way to, we can help you save money, at the end of
Hmm.
the day. I cast my eye on all of the quotations and everything that comes through our inbox. It's one of those things, like, just knowing, which suppliers to approach, who are going to give you the best deal in terms of like experience as well as just the product. You want to work with suppliers who go over and above in terms of delivering a great service as well. So, and I'm in a position to be able to advise my couples of that. So
Hmm.
that's one of the other many benefits. I see
Hmm.
that we've got a question
Yeah.
from the laser engraving company. I think we've lost it. Oh, they've
Let
just
me see.
said,
What sort of
Um,
questions should you ask a prospective wedding planner?
I would ask them about what kind of weddings they do. Personally, I don't have a style of wedding. If you know, look at my Instagram, I've done a lot of different weddings, and that's because
Mhm.
all the weddings I do are uniquely my couples. It's very much speaking to their style, their taste. Obviously, you'll see a common thread in the sense that I love floristry. Like floristry is a huge base of the weddings that I design.
Mhm.
And you know, when I do style shoots or editorials, that's when I get to really play with my creative mind. But in terms of the questions that you should ask, yeah. So, you know, what kind of weddings? It might be that you know, do they have experience in like doing cultural weddings? So, you know, I've done big Hindu wedding. I've got a, you know, multicultural wedding coming up. You will ask them whether they're insured, 100%, especially at these times, these COVID times. You know, you
Yes.
want them, wedding planners are business owners, so they should have all of the accreditations that any other business would have. So, you know, ask for their insurance, their public liability, ask them for, you know, if you could speak to any of their past clients. Like I always offer that if I'm talking to a new prospective client, you know, if they need something else to seal the deal, I'll always offer for them to put them to connect them to a you know, a past couple of mine so they can speak to them about the experience. And I know that some of my couples are happy to do so. You know, ask them about, you know, what their service entails. As I said, wedding planners predominantly, you know, have this very similar services, but some people do things, you know, offer different services as well.
Yeah.
Um, as I said, mine is full planning and it's pretty much bespoke. So I work with the couple and what it is, what level of support they need specifically. Um, what other questions? I would say, you know, yeah, I think those are probably the most important ones. But
Mhm.
it's one of those things is when you sit down in front of somebody, because this job is very much, you know, relationship based, you'll know whether or not they're a good fit for you just in
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. You just get that feel for that.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, you will. You will know.
You will definitely know. As a wedding planner, do you focus on, well, you've said it, you don't, you focus on all aspects of the wedding, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's not, as I said, it depends on the client, but
Mhm.
I do everything from scheduling appointments. I go to some of my clients' bridal appointments, which I really enjoy. I go to
Mhm.
the food tastings with them if they want me to. I'll take them to flower visits with the florist if they need to. You know, there are so many other things that, you know, you can't even think of that I will do. But
Mhm.
it just all depends. Some couples want you to do everything, you know, like go ahead and just do all the things. Some people want
Mhm.
to have involvement in the journey. So it
Mhm.
means that they'll get involved in some other things as well.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, my full plan service is pretty much all encompassing, to be honest.
Okay. Okay. Do you also do destination weddings?
Destination is my dream. So at the moment, no, just because, especially with 2020 turning out the way that it has, it's
Yeah.
kind of delayed my plan, my 5-year plan a little bit. But
Mhm.
100% the future of my business is very much destination weddings because why wouldn't you want to travel and, you know, travel for work and enjoy gorgeous locations for work?
Got a feeling about
Um,
it.
you know, so yes, very much so in the future, like in By Chennai's future, we will do destination.
Excellent. Excellent. What are some of the challenges that you face, if any?
In general, or
Or yeah, snippets. You don't need to give us, or maybe you don't face any challenges in wedding planning.
no, I think that like if you mean like event days, I've been
Hmm.
lucky that there's not been that many disasters. So I think I did a wedding in Greenwich 2 years ago now, and it was a smallish wedding on the River Thames, really lovely. And long story short, the caterers were very, very late. They were coming from Kent. The groom was from South Carolina and he had wanted a specific style of American barbecue. So they hired this company who said that they could do that for them. And whilst we, as the day progressed, it was kind of became apparent that these people were just, you know, running supremely late. And I was working with an assistant on the day. And I was in the church with the client, the couples while they were, you know, going through the ceremony. And my assistant was back at the reception venue, sort of setting everything up. And she texts me, with 15 minutes left to go of the ceremony. And she's like, they are still not here. And I remember thinking to myself, goodness me, I'm going to have to get my credit card and order something and, just make sure, like, because people need to be fed. Fortunately, they had a different catering option for canapes. So we were able to, let the cocktail hour run over an hour and just let it go. I also, the benefit of having a planner in these situations is I then sort of spoke to the photographer and I told the photographer, like, take them for their photos and just take as much time as you need until we're almost where we need to be. And yeah, I mean, in the end, they turned up, food was served slightly late, but it was fine. So as I said, because that one was wedding management and where the clients had organized all of their suppliers, and I sort of came through 6 weeks before and took over. It's a bit tricky because they weren't suppliers that I recommended or had booked or anything. But still, we managed to make it work. But yes, there's always something. There will always be something. I don't think there's a perfect event day. But I think, again, to your point about what's the benefit of a planner, if you didn't have a planner in that situation, it would be down to you or your family member or a friend to, make all of that work, which would be a lot of stress when you're not meant to be stressed.
Yeah, and it wouldn't have flown so easily.
Oh yeah, swan theory.
Just running around and just
Absolutely.
Whereas as a wedding planner, if you have a wedding planner on the day, it's seamless, isn't it? Nobody knows that there's a glitch.
Yeah, well, that's the goal anyway.
Yeah,
that's the goal. I mean, who knows? Like in the future, anything could happen. But yeah, for the time being, I think there haven't been too many big sort of major challenges on event days, anyways.
Excellent. As we move forward post-COVID, how do you envisage working with your team?
So team for me is not just Lauren, who's my intern, but also supplier partners who we work with. And I think it's obviously apparent that all the measures, safety measures need to be in place. So I think that even, the first sort of weddings that go ahead, wait staff, all the service staff will be in gloves and masks where possible. I think it's inevitable that that's what it's going to look like. And I think, even for me, just the extra precautions of making sure you're always, hand washing, always, making sure that there's, sanitizers around at events and things like that, easy access to bathrooms and things. I think that's essentially the most obvious ones that will be there, hand sanitizers everywhere. Anyone serving a guest, should obviously be wearing gloves and, a mask. If we're, I think this side of the year anyways, before we go into next year, we might return to normal next summer, who knows? But I think definitely, safety measures in place for sure.
Excellent. What are your top 5 tips to give to a bride who's watching you?
Top 5 tips is, it's your wedding, do it your way. And I know that's very difficult for people to sort of take in, but there's a lot of the time, like family members and, traditions influence how people plan their weddings. But I really, I encourage people to just really and truly, especially if you're paying for your own wedding, do it however you want to do it. Number 2, set a budget and stick to it. Definitely set a budget and stick to it.
Yeah.
Number 3, involve your family and friends if they if they've got like expertise that you can use. So if there's someone in your family who's a great makeup artist or whatever, that look to your inner circle first and see who could probably support you, because obviously that will help you in the long run as well, with somebody that rather than a stranger or that sort of thing. I would say don't get lost in Pinterest straight away. I think the minute someone gets engaged, they want to rush to Pinterest because it's quite overwhelming. I would say always like sit down and talk to your partner about what kind of wedding you would like before you get influenced by what you see on Pinterest.
Yes.
Because there's loads of like Pinterest weddings that are, you know, sensational, but they may not be realistic in terms of budget or location or, you know, so many other things. So really think about what it is that you want your wedding to be. You know, for me, I always say, what are your priorities? So mine would be food, music, and decor.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, aside from like family and friends, right?
Yeah.
But some people might be like, actually, the dress is number one, or the suit is number one, and then food is number two, or whatever it is. But you need to have those kind of conversations before you even start looking at Pinterest, or, you know, like start deciding on like a vision, basically.
Because Pinterest can be quite overwhelming with their picture, with a lot
Yeah,
of images, and then you
yeah,
fantasize on how you want your wedding to be, and before you know
exactly.
it, it's beyond your budget.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, until you start, you know, putting a budget together and really sitting right, like that's where you sort of prioritize and you go, actually, some people will spend more on, you know, I would definitely spend more on food and drink because it's, you know, I want people to have a good experience if they're traveling, you know, to come and see me, you know, get married, you know, especially if it's going to be destination, you know, people go such a long way in expense. I 100% just want people to, you know, have a great experience. So food and drink would be paramount for me. And it might just mean that I'd, you know, I'd put a little bit more in that pot and go, actually, I could do without favors. I mean, I hate wedding favors anyway, so I wouldn't do wedding favors, but like that sort of, you know what I mean? So those sorts of things, decisions you can make, but it, you know, you need to kind of start at what kind of wedding do we want? What are we
So,
putting with this?
okay. So, have you any favorite weddings you have done?
Yeah. So yeah, I did
Can
a
you?
wedding for a
You
close
didn't
friend
want.
of mine.
Okay.
Yeah, and that
Yeah,
was pretty beautiful.
that was your favorite.
Yeah, I would say so. But it has a different meaning.
Okay.
Yeah, it has a different meaning.
Okay. What advice can you give to anyone who may be thinking of becoming a wedding planner?
That it's a business and not a hobby. So, you know, you've kind of got to want to make it work, and not just, you know, do pretty shoots and whatnot. So you have to approach it as a business. As I said before, I'm lucky that all of the things that I enjoy, entertaining, hosting, etc., you know, kind of, and my natural affinity for nice things mean that I actually enjoy the not so you know, fun parts of being a wedding planner, which is the admin. Because actually, wedding planning is about 80% admin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that's it. So we've come to the end of the questions. Is there anybody that wants to ask any questions before we
I
let
don't
Cheni
know.
go? And someone says, thank you for great tips.
Oh, I need to refresh my page.
Cool.
You're welcome. Any questions before we sign off?
As apart from the actual ceremony, one thing guests are likely to remember is the reception and the food.
Yeah,
Would you agree?
100%.
Would you collaborate with other wedding planners, and if an event was too big for you?
Maybe not. Yes, maybe if they've got production experience. So I find that like when I'm the weddings that I'm aspiring to, and you know, where I'm hoping to grow my business, is weddings of larger scale. So not necessarily by numbers of people, but in terms of production. So I would probably work with somebody who's got like production experience just to help, maybe I design and, you know, manage a portion of the event, and then they take care purely of the production aspect. But yes, I'm always open to collaborating, but they have to just have a skill set that I think is like I said, probably in the production space.
Excellent. Excellent. It's good to know. Oh, what's going
Your
on
camera.
here? Ah! Sorry about that. What else? Any other questions?
I can't see any. Just
If someone says, I think you have shown why everyone needs a planner.
oh, thank you. Oh, Liz and Grazing Company. Hi. Hi, 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 everyone. Okay, great.
Okay, I think that's it. I think our viewers are very happy that you've come on this show, and um you've answered everything that they've probably been thinking of.
Yeah, great. Thanks
It's
for
been,
having me, Clara.
thank you for coming on our show. Thank you. It's been excellent.
All right, then have a great evening, guys. Thank you. Bye.
Take care. Bye. Yes, social handle down below. So everybody please go and check her page. Chene, if you are still on, would you mind pinning your social handle at the bottom of the screen? If not, I can do that once I save this on here. So thank you everyone for joining us. It's been excellent having you. I believe everyone has had a great time listening to why you should be having a wedding planner on your day. It alleviates so much stresses from you and takes a lot of weight from you as well. And you just want to enjoy your day and not think of all the stresses or think of, you know, liaising with who you should be liaising with. And that is what a wedding planner will be doing on the day. So thank you, everybody. And look, everyone have a great evening in whatever you're doing. Like I said, once we come out of this lockdown, yeah, fingers crossed, we'll be back to some form of weddings or events. And yeah, it will be lovely going back on the road again. So thank you everybody for joining in, and soon there will be more lives, hopefully. Won't forget to put her link in below so everybody can go out and check her out. She's got some fantastic work. Thank you everybody, and thank you, Chene. Thank you.